Apache Junction Council meeting of March 4th, 2025 to order, and ask everyone to put their cell phones on silent. The invocation will be led by Councilmember Peter Heck. The Pledge of Allegiance will be by Vice Mayor Schroeder.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege and freedom we have of being able to gather together this evening to discuss city business. We ask that you give the staff and council wisdom and clarity in their decision-making. Keep us mindful that we serve the residents of this city. We ask you to watch over the men and women who serve in our military the world over. Keep them safe in these troubling and turbulent times. We ask also for your blessing on our first responders, including our police and fire departments, along with our EMS personnel. Please keep these brave men and women safe in their duties to protect and care for the residents of this city. Thank you for the honor and privilege we have to serve the residents of this city. These things we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Wilson,
Here.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Here.
Councilmember Cross,
Here.
Councilmember Heck,
Here.
Councilmember Johnson,
Here.
Councilmember Nesser,
Present.
Councilmember Soller.
Here.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Consent agenda. As a reminder, all items on the consent agenda will be approved with one motion. If a council member wishes to move an item for further discussion, the request will be made prior to approving the consent agenda, and we move to new business. Do I have a motion for a consent agenda?
Mayor,
Yes.
I move that the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder.
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Regional intergovernment updates. Anyone have?
Well, yeah. I want to thank the residents of our great city that came out and supported the Pony Express that was reenacted throughout the community last Saturday. And also I'd like to thank the Chief Pooley and the police officers that gave their support as well. It all came together quite nicely, and we had a record in our sales, and everything came out pretty darn good. So everyone had a great time.
Peter?
No. I'll do it later.
We're going to do it separate?
Yes. With the current events.
Okay. Anyone else over here? Okay, well, I have several things I wanted to bring up. First off, I wanted to say that we had our Representative Marshall attend our parade, and he also attended a rodeo. And he was well pleased with it, and it was great. As everyone may remember, I also sit on the Pinal County Fair Board. And, okay, there's,
We have some photos of the Lost Dutchman
Yeah.
days here, but I can skip forward to your
yes, go ahead.
Pinal County. Okay.
Okay, I sit on the Fair Board, and this year the fair down at 11 Mile Corner will be March 12th through the 16th. Also during that time is a junior livestock program. I received 2 letters from 2 of our citizens here in Apache Junction that are members of the local county kickers 4-H club. And they welcome us to come down and attend the event. Deborah Dillard and Casey Myers. They're both from Apache Junction. One has a pig, the other one has a lamb. The junior livestock programs is made up of children in Pinal County and in the 4-H groups and FFA groups throughout Pinal County. They will be showing their projects to include chickens, turkeys, ducks, rabbits, also have larger animals of sheep, lamb, swine, and beef. They will be performing their livestock shows on March 13th and 14th with a live auction starting at noon on Saturday, March 16th. They will also be showing what they have done this past year for different projects. They will also have several booths in them to show what they're doing in there this past year as well. There will be a silent auction for the projects that some of them do, and that will be starting on March 12th and finishing on the 15th. Go ahead and go to the next one. This was last year. It was a table, and they had to weld every one of the chains together to secure them. And I moved one of the stools. It was very heavy and very sturdy. And well done. And it was done by one of the 4-H groups. It is something that's unique, and they do encourage everyone to show up for it. And I encourage you also to go down and support our local 4-H and FFA groups. Okay. So you want to do it now?
Eli, do you want to do the LD? Is it with current events?
No, not yet, no.
Oh, it's not? Oh, okay.
The lost days slide.
Okay, then I can. Okay, so, I had the opportunity to participate and be involved in the Lost Dutchman Days events this year. It was an exceedingly successful event. This was the 61st year that the city's been putting on Lost Dutchman Days. It's a partnership between Superstition Mountain Promotional Corporation and the AJ Mounted Rangers. And while we dedicate a lot of time for it, we could not do this without the help of many other organizations that provided volunteers for us to be able to do this. It takes a lot of people to make this event successful. I do also want to acknowledge our Parks and Rec division or department, Liz and Riley and Dave. They did a phenomenal job in preparation of the grounds and then helping us along the way, as well as our police department. They were so helpful with us and worked with us to make certain that the areas were covered and protected. I do want to mention, if we can, there's one of a young lady that's riding her horse on the,
Right there.
that right there,
So-
that's the one.
All right,
That young lady, her name is Taylor Ballard.
No.
Oh, yes,
let me find it.
Taylor Ballard. She's the 2024 Teen Queen for the Lost Dutchman Days. On Monday, prior to the Lost Dutchman Days, her home up in Snowflake burned to the ground.
Wow.
So she had almost nothing, and the other queens provided her with the proper gear and tack and all that. And then on Sunday, we passed a hat through the grandstands, and in about 20 minutes, we raised $3,000 for the family. So I want to thank everybody that gave to that to help that young lady. She's been a wonderful representative for Lost Dutchman Days, and we're very grateful for all those that contributed. We don't know how much money we've raised for the volunteer groups, but all the sense we've gotten is that we had more folks here than we ever had before, so we're very thankful. And one last thing, during the event, during the rodeo, our senior police officers wore black cowboy hats. I gotta tell you, it's a great look.
Yep.
It's a great look, so I'm gonna see about making it an ordinance here in the city. They have to wear black cowboy hats. But no, thank you guys for getting into the spirit of that too. Appreciate that. And again, thank you to all that came out, because this is our premier event here in Apache Junction, and it gives a lot of people the opportunity to see what we're all about in this city. And we always come up looking really spectacular in this, not just the rodeo, but the whole event and the parade and the events surrounding that. And also, even for the marathon, I don't know if someone's gonna mention that, but we had 2,800 participants in the marathon. That's amazing that we have that kind of participation. So Apache Junction is becoming more and more of a recognized center of activity, which can only serve us well. So again, thanks to all.
Thank you. Now you know why I paused.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All right, city managers report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bryant Powell, City Manager, and I'll add my big thanks to our Parks and Recreation Department and Police Department for their preparation in the events this last weekend. And these last 2 weeks are just a big part of, like you said, what we are in Apache Junction, and a great reflection of our community coming together to really showcase who we are. Today, for my report, we're going to invite up Robert Whistler, and he will give us an update on our legislative update. And then at that point, we'll turn it over to Chief Pulley for an update from the Police Department.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Rob Whistler, Management Analyst for the City Manager's Office. I'm here tonight to provide an update on HCR 2021, the food tax bill that's currently in the state legislature. I'm going to begin, but before we get into the actual bill, is just a quick overview of our sales tax system here. So, in the state of Arizona, the framework is provided by Arizona state law and then the Model City Tax Code in terms of what cities can charge a sales tax on. Arizona, we have a transaction privilege tax, TPT, but kind of an acronym you'll see throughout, where, and that's where the business is actually the taxpayer. But of course, it's really the consumer, because the business will pass along the tax to the customers. And municipalities, through state law and the Model City Tax Code, municipalities are empowered to set individual TPT rates for individual items. Here is the list of all of the TPT categories. There are 42. Now, we do not collect on all of these. For instance, we do not collect on mining or timber, unsurprisingly. We also no longer collect on residential rental, which the state legislature took away from us a couple of years ago. And I'll come back to residential rental as an item here in just a bit. So let's talk the actual bill. HCR 2021 was introduced at the beginning of a session, and as it was drafted, it's proposed to eliminate entirely for municipalities their food tax. And I want to, so throughout this, there's been information going around that this was only going to get rid of the food tax on junk items. This was information that was commonly being shared by supporters of a bill, proponents, and that's not quite what this bill does. There's, long short of it, there's a statute in state law that says that all food and food taxes everything equally, and this bill does not touch that section. As introduced, this bill is a constitutional referendum, which means that the House and the Senate pass it. It does not go to the governor's desk. It goes to the voters as a referendum. If the voters vote yes on it, it becomes law. And an update on the bill itself. On February 19th, the bill was amended from goes down to zero. It's eliminated entirely to a cities now can only charge the 2%. So for Apache Junction, we are at 2.4% currently. This would mean that we'd have to go down to 2%, and no further increases would be allowed. So I want to quick just look at statewide on TPT retail food. So it's currently imposed by about 70 municipalities, and 50 of them have a rate higher than 2%. So in the 2% cap would cost municipalities about $35 million, and then if it were eliminated entirely, it would be $200 million spread across the 71 municipalities that impose it. Now, zooming into us, to the City of Apache Junction, we would lose at the 2% cap $670,000 a year annually at the 2% cap. And with full elimination, it would be $3.4 million per year. And then, again, we've already lost $1.5 million when the state legislature in 2023 got rid of the residential rental tax. I'm going to go through, because to sort of further demonstrate the impact of this on both our revenue side and our expenditure side here. So note that city sales tax right now is 46% of our general fund. 600,000 would be a bad hit. 3.5 million would be an absolutely crippling hit to our city sales tax. On the expenditure side of things, 672,000 is more than several of our departments allocated in the general fund. And 3.5 million is effectively losing what we've budgeted this year for our public works department. And finally, in terms of another different look at it and what we're actually spending on department to department, 2/3 of our budget is personnel, is employees who work for the city. And as these cuts are made, it's, you know, food tax, residential rental. With that much in personnel, it's hard to avoid completely the personnel side when we keep sustaining hits to our revenue stream. Mayor and Council, that concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions. Oh, I'm sorry. I've got one more slide. I thought I was... So this is where things currently are. So there's been... so ever since this began, there's been a lot of negotiation and infighting within the Republicans. Essentially two different factions. A rural faction that has, in their districts, many cities who this is their lifeblood. You have cities that, if this goes away, it could be disincorporation. And then on the other hand, you have suburban and urban Republicans who represent districts who cities don't even have the food tax anymore. So Phoenix, Mesa, for instance, they do not have food tax currently. So last Thursday, the bill was supposed to go to the House for the final vote before it would proceed over to the Senate. But what happened was it became clear that the majority of, so that there would not be a majority, that 7 Republicans were going to vote no on it, and so it was pulled off the agenda. Yesterday, a new amendment was posted which would allow cities and towns that currently charge the food tax to be able to keep it at the current rate, and we would just simply not be able to increase it effectively. And Mayor and Council, now I'm available for questions.
Yes.
So Rob, this isn't the first time they tried to get this bill across.
No.
They actually went to the governor, and the governor vetoed it. So essentially, this is why they're doing this again, bringing it to committee so it goes to the voters. And what voter out there would vote, no to not get rid of taxes, right? So they're actually counting on the uneducation of what's going on realistically to these voters. And now, I don't know if this is a question for you, more for Bryant, but if this should move forward, as a county, are we going to launch a campaign for a vote no on Prop whatever?
The answer to that, we would not be able to utilize city staff time or county time to be able to go in any type of a election like that or a proposition. Of course, political action committees could be set up to do that.
That's it.
But informationally and educationally, we could say what this is and what this isn't, like we do on any type of issue, like we're doing now tonight.
Your Honor.
Yes.
So Rob, it's my understanding that the city of Phoenix has recently announced that they're $34 million in the hole, and a lot of that's because of the rental tax going bye-bye. You know, the state wants us to build houses and build, affordable homes, but, anyways, they're proposing to increase their general sales tax by 0.5%. Okay.
Correct.
That's correct.
And you're entirely right, is that the residential rental has been a huge hit to municipalities' revenue streams. It's been absolutely, it's been just massive.
And doesn't it hit, Robert, proportionally based on cities and towns in the state that have a higher propensity of rentals and or apartments? Is that an accurate statement?
Absolutely.
So the Phoenix, the Mesa, the Tempe, and Apache Junction.
Proportionally,
it hits those
well,
cities worse.
proportionally, we were hit significantly because we have so many rentals. So many people come here to the mobile home manufactured home parks over the winter to get out of Minnesota, Iowa, the Dakotas.
right.
So it hit us among the hardest.
Mayor,
Yes.
let's talk about the renter's tax. It was a complete failure. No one's rent got lowered. It wasn't that significant of a lowering anyhow. It's right around $21 for people for rent, and most people did not get their rent lowered. The landlords made money. The food tax, that is going to crush cities. And I hope the people out there watching this understand. 60% of our budget is personnel, benefits, salaries. That's your police, all your city functions. If we have to make massive cuts in that, it will really hurt all the residents in our city. So please educate yourself on what this bill will do if it passes, because it will be bad for all cities that rely on food tax. So.
Right.
Yes.
Just one quick question regarding the rental tax.
Right.
My understanding that senior living rental communities also, they had to pay that rental tax, correct? So those, having been there, I know that's a significant amount of revenue that the city lost from that. Well, any senior living community in this city is a rental, and there was a lot of, they had to pay that, which is obviously now no longer there. So, yeah, it certainly had an impact on our revenue stream.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
The only thing that did was hurt the cities. It just hurt every city in the state.
Yeah.
And this one will crush the cities. It won't hurt, it will crush us.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider the numbers, at least in our community, you're talking almost a four times more, so 1.5 to 3.8. You're getting into, a combination of like $6 million, and 50% of our personnel that you go to is our public safety. So this is about public safety for us and all cities.
Mind if I have a closing thought on this, just to wrap up?
Okay.
All right. So just want to say once again, so the good news, some hope in all of this is that the legislature has amended the bill such that we will not be, as long as the bill stays in its current form through the Senate, that we will not lose any revenue right now. we won't be able to increase in the future, but we at least would not see that $673.5 million hit to our budget.
And will voters have to vote on that?
That,
Mm-hmm.
that did,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, so
They would
they
have-
could vote no on it.
correct.
The
Well,
day,
they would be voting yes on this to eliminate this food tax.
Right, that's correct, yeah.
of course, the danger is if the legislature, if it gets voted no, the legislature may well come back and say, well, now we know that they don't want the food tax, and they'll just do the same thing over again, too. That's also very possible versus the deal that we have now.
Has any of the legislators talked about how they're going to fund cities?
They don't care.
I know they don't care. That's the problem. You're running the state, and you don't care about what your local municipalities are going to have to suffer if they do this. That is a shame that they are not even reaching out to us and asking us, hey, how bad is this going to hurt you?
I think the mayor has had that conversation and can probably tell you more if you want to know how it's gone.
Yeah, and I think conversations like this, in terms of our governance, of the ability for, if anybody's watching, if you can get a sense of, nobody wants, obviously, like the vice mayor said, to have taxes. But when you're getting into these types of issues, they need to listen to
Nobody
local.
wants to live in a crime-ridden city either, and they want to have, when they dial 911, they want somebody to answer the phone.
Yes.
And they want somebody to come.
That's right.
And we start making those type of cuts, that is not going to happen.
Well, I'll make a quick comment on that comment. Is one of our legislators, I went before and talked to him about this and how it would impact our community. And he says, well, have your police officers write more speeding tickets. And I said, okay, but now, wait a minute, we have to let some of the police officers go, so how are we gonna be able to write more tickets when we have less officers that can do the writing? And his final comment concerning was, he says, well, that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah, see, that in there is the issue. They're telling us to go out and hammer our public with speeding tickets. We don't give speeding tickets to make money.
No.
You give tickets to change a behavior. It has nothing to do with money. The city doesn't make money on speeding tickets. We don't want to make that much money. What we want to do is have people comply with the law and make it safe. So this, whoever you talk to, is way out of line on that.
Oh, yes. Now, we had some further other discussions concerning it.
Thank you, Rob, and now we'll invite the chief up for PD update.
And on another note,
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Thank you for this opportunity. We'll just get into this. I hit my 3-year mark with the City of Apache Junction at the end of January. It's hard to believe that 3 years has gone by so quick, but I tell my people that coming here was the best decision I ever did. When I got here, we had authorized 75 police officers and we had 39 authorized professional staff. We are currently at 95 officers and we are at 51 professional staff. One of the things that I think is really cool is we have 8 SROs. Of those 95, they're at all of our schools, our elementary schools, to include Peralta Trail, which is the elementary school in Gold Canyon. Over the last 3 years, we've hired 49 police officers for the Apache Junction Police Department, and we are completely, fully staffed, and we have a line of people that want to join our police department, so we're really happy about that. So I'm going to get into some technology so you understand kind of the things that, a lot of these things we've just implemented and you have approved. One of them is these overt camera trailers. We use these at our special events. They were fully functional at the marathon, which were extremely useful. Also at Lost Dutchman Days, the rodeo. What that did is that allowed our command center to have access to different points to include traffic coming in and leaving, so we knew where to send personnel and make things a lot smoother for our people and for visitors that were coming to join us. With the use of technology, it also is a force multiplier, and we're able to really see what's going on out there. Also, we got these new radios, our Motorola APX N70 radios. These are very good in that we have GPS in all of these. So when we turn our radios on, if one of our officers gets in a foot pursuit, or if one of our officers is out in the desert, or even on special events, we're able to see exactly where they are. We have the GPS capabilities in our vehicles, but now this is actually on their person, so we know exactly where they're at. So it's, again, it's a safety mechanism for us. As you know, we got this training simulator. It's called the Vertra. It's basically a 300-degree simulator. We just got it delivered about a month ago. We're still trying to learn all the ins and outs of it. We'll invite you down there once we get it all figured out, but it is working perfect. It's going to be a game changer for our training unit, and it's going to provide real-time training for all of our personnel that are out on the street and helping them with reactions. Another one is called Peregrine. This is a data management platform. It's basically, most people believe that police departments, law enforcement are sharing information across jurisdictions, and we do, but we don't have access. We have to call that jurisdiction and ask them. What this platform does is it basically shares our information with all the different law enforcement agencies that are a part of it, and it has been great for our analytics as well. Our drones, our drone team, we have 13 pilots that all have their license to fly these machines. We have, actually it's 13 drone pilots, not 11. And we have a total of 11, actually I apologize, it's 11 drone pilots and 13 drones. We've used these for several different things. For accident investigations, we had 13 accident investigations, patrol operations, where we had 51 flights, SWAT operations, 226 flights, training, special event support, and search and rescue. Some examples of how we use this is during special events, we'll use these drones to go out and get a layout of the roadways, traffic coming in and out. It also helps monitor crowd control and helps us see where we need resources. A couple examples that we've used these drones is we assisted Pinal County Sheriff's Office on some subjects that ran from a vehicle. And when we were able to pull our drone out, we were able to locate both of these suspects in the desert. We had another one where we used for some suspects that ran from another vehicle. They jumped in somebody's backyard hiding under some trees, and we were able to use the drones to find these people and pull them out. Another one was a shooting where people were shooting out in the desert, and instead of our officers driving out there to confront them, we were able to use the drone, make commands, and they were able to make contact with these individuals a much safer way. So it was great to have that technology at our hands. Flock safety. We currently have our flock cameras out. You've probably seen them around town. This year, in this past year in 2024, with the use of flock, we've made 14 arrests. We recovered 19 stolen vehicles, 6 stolen license plate, a total of about just under $400,000 in assets that have been recovered. Some stories of these on how we use these. One of them was a stolen vehicle coming from Mesa. The suspects had warrants. One of them had 3 outstanding warrants. Included were 6 ounces of heroin, other narcotics, paraphernalia, and burglary tools, probation violation. So it was a good arrest. Another one was we had a rash of burglaries in a neighborhood where there were several different vehicles that were broken into. We were able to get some surveillance cameras most people have surveillance cameras on their houses. A lot of people do. We were able to get a description of the vehicle, and with the flock cameras, we were able to locate the vehicle, the suspects of the vehicle that had broken into all these vehicles, and it was a great arrest. The community was extremely thankful. We went out there, and we've met with several of these communities about this. Another one was a victim that had parked his truck in his driveway. There was a person that went up and spray painted his truck for some type of reason, and with the use of flock cameras, we were able to locate this person and find them and arrest them as well. They ended up fighting the officers, assaulted one of the officers, and they were taken into custody. The last one I'll talk about is we believe possibly saved a life. It was a domestic violence situation where there was a female that was assaulted by her fiance, made threats that he was going to harm her, possibly kill her, and we needed to find this individual. We checked everywhere, looked all over the place. We couldn't find him. We had an alert on the flock camera when he came back into town. We were able to locate him. He was parked across the street from his fiance's house with a loaded handgun ready to go visit her. So again, with the use of flock cameras, we believe that this helped us find him quickly before he was able to go back to the house. So this technology, yes, it is a force multiplier. It helps us solve crimes, helps us find missing people, and it's something that we're very, very fortunate to have. One last piece of technology I'll hit on is called Spider Tech. What this is it's a customer service satisfaction type rating. One of the things that there's departments throughout the country that get rated through this technology, and one of the things that they sent to us just a couple weeks ago is how high our officers and our communications staff is rated. We're very proud of that. We think our officers go out there on a daily basis and do everything they can to serve the community in a professional, positive way, and this is something that shows us that they are doing that. Talking about the community, we really try to be involved. I've seen many of you at different special events. Last year in 2024, we had over 70 special or community events that we went to. We try to put a lot of things out on social media so people know that we're out there, what we're doing, and how we're engaged with the public. This has helped us build a lot of relationships where people have called us about crimes and have reported things that maybe would not have been reported. So we're going to continue to do that. This last year, we also created a new beat system. And, you know, we've had comments about this where people feel like they see the police in the neighborhoods more. That's the point of this. We have geographical areas that police officers are assigned, and we believe that as those officers are assigned to these areas, they get to know the clerks, they get to know the neighbors, the HOA presidents, the managers for apartments or trailer parks, and that's their duty when they're not answering calls for service. So there's 6 beats here in the city of Apache Junction. Talking about calls for service, as you can see, and we have every year increased our calls for service as the population continues to grow. We anticipate the calls for service to continue to go up. In 2022, we had just under 40,000 calls for service. In 2024, we're at 45,000 calls for service. And those are the types of calls for service, the big ones. So total accidents, 500, 7 fatal accidents just last year. So as we were talking about, being out there for enforcement, that's what we want. We don't want those numbers to keep going up. Our job and our goal is to continue to get those numbers down. Total DUIs, 155. Field interviews, just over 1,000. We had over 2,000 arrests and 5,000 citations. Last thing I'll hit on is one of the things that we implemented within the last 4 months is a full-time homeless outreach officer, Officer Dwayne Toohey. He goes out, he works with different partners, including Horizon Health and Wellness. They've been able to house a lot of homeless and address different issues that come in from different people throughout the community. So it's something that we're very happy about. He does a great job, and he's doing what he needs to be doing. So that wraps up my presentation. I'm here to answer any questions.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Hey, Chief, speaking of social media and technology, you use that too to catch bad guys, don't you?
We do.
Tell me a little something about that.
So we use social media to put out people that are either runaways. We put runaways out. We also put pictures of suspects out there that we get.
How about something a little more recent?
Oh, you're
Something you've been working on for a while.
Yeah, so we just recently did a very large operation that included multiple jurisdictions. It was housed here in Apache Junction. We had never done anything to that scale. It was basically targeting online predators that were trying to target young juveniles, as young as 7 years old. This is happening in our community. There are people that are doing this, and that's what the focus was of this operation. What we were not expecting is how many arrests we made. So we made 14 arrests. We identified multiple other people that were engaged in this type of activity, but we weren't able to arrest them. All of these 14 arrests were people that came from outside of our city of Apache Junction. They were not Apache Junction residents. They came as far as the west side of Glendale, Avondale, different parts of the valley. Some of them traveled over 50 miles to get to the city of Apache Junction, which again, it shows that every community has youth that are extremely vulnerable. And it was a great operation, so thank you for asking me.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
Good job.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
It was great.
Mayor?
Ryan,
Yes.
I have to say that, you know, it's hard to imagine. You've only been here 3 years, but your vision for Apache Junction has been so far beyond that, because you came in here with a view to technology on how to make our officers safer, so they in turn can make our citizens safer. And I applaud you for all the things that you have brought to this city and this council that we are more than happy to spend the funds on so that you can continue to keep us all safe, especially your officers. Well done, Chief.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Mayor?
So,
Yeah.
one of the other things, just kudos, you know, and you've changed the culture amongst our police department. You know, when you have people lining up and on a waiting list to get into your police force, that says a tremendous amount to everybody out there, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
As a veteran of 36 years in law enforcement and still going, I can tell you, when you have a fully staffed police department, it doesn't matter about money or benefits. It comes down to leadership. And you and your team have excellent leadership, and that's why everybody wants to come here. And you have turned Apache Junction from just being a police department to being one of the best and biggest growing police departments in our state. And I'm very proud of everybody that works for Apache Junction Police Department and you and your command staff. Excellent leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm going to make a quick comment. I received a telephone call, and I get a lot of complaints and calls about different things. And it was a young lady, I say young lady, it was a woman that called me, and she says, first off, she says, I want to compliment your police department. And I said, okay. She says, yes. She says, I got pulled over and got a citation for doing something wrong. She says, and I was doing it. The police officer was extremely friendly, talked to me, treated me like a human, not being talking down at. She says, and I sure appreciate it. Please pass this on. And if you remember, I did that about it. So.
You did, yes.
But it is something that when your police department gets a compliment about a speeding ticket, I think is outstanding.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, all the comments. I do. I don't take it lightly. I know it's not just me. We have great people, but we couldn't do this without the support of each of you in our community. I honestly tell people that coming to the city of Apache Junction was the highlight of my career. And I continue to tell people that. I defend this city with everything I got because this is what I call home. So thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Cowboy hats.
And lastly, we'd like to invite up Eli. We have a couple of current event announcemements.
Evening, Mayor, City Council. Just one tonight, so I'll be really brief. We get a little bit of a break now that a couple of our marquee events are over. But we want to make sure that we spread the word as much as possible, get everyone's help, and making sure our community knows that they can get 2 free plants that are appropriate for the Arizona desert landscape for free. This is a result of a partnership between AJ Water Department, Arizona Water Company, and the Boyce Thompson Arboretum as part of the One Water, Our Water initiative. So this is going to be a cool thing. I'd hate for someone to just not be aware of it and miss out on the chance to go and pick up a couple plants that are perfect for our landscape and take up the right amount of water. So anyone that's with AJ Water District or Arizona Water Company is eligible, which is the lion's share of AJ, obviously, and you'll just need to bring a valid ID and recent utility bill to confirm identity and address and come to the Boyce Thompson Arboretum, which is a little bit of a drive, but well worth it for this. And a lot of details to remember. So this is on the front page of our website, too. You can orient people to that and make sure that we get a good showing out there from AJ. Thank you. That's it for this week.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Old business. Presentation, discussion, and consideration of Resolution 25-03. Mr. Stern.
Good evening, council members. Pursuant to your direction to staff, what you have before you is resolution number 2503, and it does two things. It calls for the election for November 4th, 2025, and it gives the question to be on the ballot, which is, should the city code be changed regarding the mayoral term from 2 years to 4 years? It's as simple as that. There's also attached to this item is the revised timeline. These are the milestones that we have to meet. And giving credit to our city clerk, she's contacted both counties. We are in line to get set up with them so that both elections will take place. Once this resolution is signed by the mayor, it'll be sent probably tomorrow to both counties, and we'll probably be talking to the counties because we'd have to pay them, and also we have to set this whole thing up, especially with the ballot language. We'll have an outside vendor who does the publicity pamphlet because we have to have arguments in favor and opposed if someone wants to make those arguments. And so that's done through a private vendor. Are there any questions?
Any questions? None. Any comments from anyone? Nope. Okay. Can I have a motion for
Your Honor.
resolution number 2025-03?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I move that resolution number 25-03, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the City of Apache Junction, Arizona, located in the counties of Maricopa and Pinal, calling and ordering a special election in each county to be held on November 4th, 2025, for the purpose of submitting to the qualified voters of Apache Junction the question of changing the mayoral term of office from 2 years to 4 years be approved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nestor,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
passes unanimously.
Yep, and I want to say thank you. New business. Ratification of Evie for appointment and position as city clerk.
Your Honor, I can kick that off. I am, in my role as city manager, pleased to present tonight a ratification for our new city clerk to be Evie McKinney. The item as presented is required by city code, and it allows for you to ratify a city clerk. And I present you to her as someone who is qualified and ready for this role. And we've got to know Evie, and I've worked with Evie for somewhere in between. She's worked here almost 20 years, and trusted by many in the city and in our organization. So I don't really have anything other than that than this to give you my 100% support in this ratification action.
Yes, welcome aboard. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Yes.
we need to ratify it.
We need to ratify it.
So I'd like to make a motion.
Oh.
And her staff is here tonight, so it's super neat to see the support here.
Yes.
I move to ratify the appointment of Evie McKinney to the position of city clerk.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
All in favor, raise your hand. Yes.
Councilmember Nestor,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes, and congratulations.
thank you. Councilmember Johnson,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Yeehaw.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Did you want to say a few words?
I would love to. I am a clerk. First off, I just want to say thank you so much for your encouragement and support over the past few months to me and to the rest of the clerk staff. They are my next 8 arms, and I want to take a minute to just introduce them. Heather Noblock is our office support specialist. Amy Greening is our admin assistant, who you get your reminders from. Dana Tucker is our new records coordinator. She came on about a year ago doing a phenomenal job with Laserfish, our new records management system. And Donna Scruggs is our amazing one and only business license coordinator. It's a great staff. They are super supportive of the city as a whole. Like I say, they've just been my right arms through this whole process, so I really appreciate them. I appreciate you guys, and I just want to say 1990 sounds like a long time ago, but it really seems like just yesterday when I had my first interview with Doug Dobson at Public Works. And that's where I started my tenure. I worked for a few years and then left for about 9 and came back in 2004. And I'm like the chief. The best thing I ever did was came back here. It's a great place, great support, great encouragement always. I've worked in 6 departments, and I think with that knowledge, I'm at a pinnacle that I've developed because of the experience and knowledge that I gained from all of those departments. So my wish would be in the next few weeks to contact each of you and have a one-on-one. Just find what your vision and goals are, besides at the retreat, and share what my thoughts are for the clerk's office, and just to maintain a good relationship, see what we can do to better our city, streamline processes within our city, and I'm just here to be the best clerk you could ever have. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, call to the public. I'd like to remind everyone the call to the public is a courtesy and not required by law. It is a time for the public to express requests, communications, comments, and suggestions. Requests to speak forms must have been completed and handed to the city clerk before the end of the city manager's report. All issues shall be presented in a professional matter without personal attacks. Underneath the open meeting law, council cannot engage in discussions on issues presented, but may respond to criticism and may direct staff to follow up with the speaker directly and/or place matter on a future agenda for a council discussion. There's a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. And I've got 3. Jeremy Jackson.
Thank you, guys. This is Jeremy Jackson, 1353 South Bel Air Road in Apache Junction. Guys, I thought about what I was going to talk about, because it's been a while since some of you seen me. But I wanted to spend my time to be as efficient as I can, because I could tell you all the things that we've done as a ministry and otherwise, but I really wanted, as I'm sitting here listening, to say thank you. Because most of you, this isn't your only thing you do. Most of the people that have voted you in don't pay attention to that. And I thank you for sitting in for all of us and being able to be that watchman on the wall, to be able to talk for us and to go after those things, like the bill that's coming through, like the stuff that we need to watch out to make sure that our police and fire are taken care of. Thank you for doing that. And because I'm a pastor and that's what I do, I'm going to take a minute for me, for you guys, if I can pray. Lord, I thank you for everyone that's on the board today. I thank you for everybody that works for the city and every part of the city. Lord, bless them with everything that they need Lord, give them the supernatural wisdom to be able to make the decisions that need to happen for the city and for us. I thank you for each one that's up on the council right now and our beloved mayor. Lord, touch them and bless them in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you guys for giving me some time. I'll be back the next time. I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're doing. Have a wonderful one, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Kathleen Meek.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Catherine Meek, 1327 South Bel Air Road. Although these days I'm living at Superstition Mountain Museum a heck of a lot. This weekend on Saturday, after you go get your free plants over at Boyce Thompson, come out. We've got our fundraiser going out on Saturday night at 4:30 to 7 o'clock. It's the Magic of Mexican Artistry. We're going to have Mexican food, some a 4-string quartet playing some Mexican music, the sunset with the superstitions in the background turning pink and pretty colors. We're going to have some great food, some raffle baskets, and some other things going on, and we'd love to see you all out there. And then the following weekend, of course, if you're not at the fair the whole time, we've got artists from Oaxaca and Mata Ortiz showing off their wares, some beautiful pottery, some beautiful, vibrantly hand-painted carvings, and we'd love to see you out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna Carr.
Donna Carr, Apache Junction resident. Now, I'm not picking on you, Chief, but, and I'm sure you guys needed all this stuff when the COVID money came in, especially when we needed that new SWAT vehicle before Tom Kelly left. And I asked him, well, how many times have you used it? He said, twice. But I think that one of the things that I think should happen is maybe some of the older officers need to teach some of the younger officers on how to handle people a little bit better. Now, I babysit 5 grandkids. One is 4, one is just turned 3, one's 2.5, one is 1, and the other one is 6 months. Now, I had them all out in the yard and they were playing when I couldn't see the 4-year-old and my whole yard's fenced in. So I'm yelling for him, and there's an easement beside my house. And there's a black car sitting in the easement, and some dude decides that he's going to start talking to the 4-year-old. So I'm yelling at him, telling him, stranger danger, get away from the fence. I called the police shop. And an officer calls me on the phone. She didn't come, she calls me on the phone. So I explained everything. She says, well, if you have more information, she says, give us a call back. Well, I talked to my neighbor who has cameras, and he caught the same car was sitting across the street from my house for a period of time. So I called her back. He screenshotted it, sent it to me. I sent it to her. And she leaves. Took probably about 15 minutes to a half hour, and she says, you know what? Maybe I should make a report on this. One would have thought that from the beginning. When you got 5 little kids, and there's only one of me. So I think that some of the older cops need to train some of the newer cops and teach them how to handle people and what things are probably important, even if you don't think they are. The other thing I was going to bring up is if we're talking about the taxes on food. Now, when Braden Biggs was a council member, I had said to him, I said, I bought this certain amount of group of groceries at the Walmart here in AJ. Then I bought the same exact groceries at the one on Signal Butte. And this is what I paid in difference in taxes. And I said, maybe I should go to the council meeting and tell everybody that they need to shop on the other side of Meridian, where they don't have to pay as much on their food for taxes. And he says, you do that, he says, you know, he says, we're gonna bring your property taxes up. I said, are you threatening me?
Okay, thank you.
So, I'm just saying.
Thank you. Okay, council have any comments?
We don't have a property tax.
Yeah, we don't.
All right. I will adjourn this meeting.